Hello there guys, and welcome back to another Forza Horizon 5 video on my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be taking you through the spring/hot season of Series 9 Hot Wheels themed festival playlist in Horizon 5. This is the last week of the Hot Wheels themed festival playlist. Next week we'll be moving on to Series 10, which as you can see in the coming soon tab is noted as Horizon X. JakeXVX has some good theories and rumours on what this could be, so I'll link to his channel in the description down below so you can have a look at that. But in this video I'm going to be taking you through the whole of the spring season, taking you through all the Forzathon events, the seasonal events including the trial, championships, stunts, the challenges and even the monthly events all the way at the end. I'm going to be taking you through all of these challenges and so you can get yourself as many points out of the 53 points available in this season. So there are 2 cars available for season rewards this week. So for 20 points we have the Hot Wheels Nash Metropolitan. This is an exclusive, it has just been added in Series 9 and the only other way to get this is via wheel spins or the auction house, which are not in the auto show. It is a really cool car. It was in Horizon 4 as part of the Hot Wheels Legends car pack, so if you haven't driven it yet I'd highly recommend spending yourself about 20 to 30 minutes unlocking this car in order to give it a go. And then for 40 points we've got the Peel Trident, which is also an exclusive car. This is only available in the Festival Playlist, Forzathon shop and auction house, so that is not in wheel spins. With it, even though it's only got 4 horsepower and top speed of about 30-40 mile an hour, it is still a really cool car. If you upgrade it you might want to try it out with some friends. Really cool car, also really rare as well, so getting yourself this will be a really cool addition to your garage. This will take you around 30 minutes to an hour of your time, depending on which challenges you select to complete in which order. I'm going to be taking you through all of the challenges in this season, so do not worry on which ones you want to focus on, because I'll be taking you through all of them, giving you tunes, tips and tricks and everything else to get them completed. Just before we start, however, if you aren't aware, the car pass has now ended. There is no car pass car this week. The last car was last week in winter, which was the 2019 Nissan 370Z Nismo. That was the 42nd out of 42 cars that were promised in the car pass at the start of the game. So that has now finished, so we'll only be getting a car in the festival playlist every week from now on, hopefully. However, the expansion is coming out next week on Tuesday, so that'll be something to brighten us up in Series 10, to give us loads of new cars and races and stuff to explore with that. I am hoping to do a live stream of that next Thursday or Friday or next weekend at some time. If I get time, I'll just have to check what I've got going on in real life before I can promise anything there, but do look out for that if you want to see that at some point in the next week or two. And that's pretty much all I need to tell you. So without any further ado, let's get into the Forzathon related events, starting off with the weekly Forzathon challenge, which is called Ultra Hot. Okay then, so starting off with the Ultra Hot Weekly Forzathon Challenge, this will get you 5 points towards the festival playlist and also 80 Forzathon points or 160 Forzathon points if you own the La Casa Solagera house, which comes free with VIP or otherwise is a couple of million credits. Highly worth getting that house because it gets you double Forzathon points in everything Forzathon related, including Horizon Arcade events. So the first chapter is called American Muscle and wants you to own and drive the legendary 1987 Buick Regal GNX. I always call that GNX, I don't know why. This is my pronunciation. GNX. The Buick Regal whatever it's called. This car is available in the auto show as far as I am aware. It is available there for, when it loads, 130,000 credits. It is quite a lot, however it is quite a cool car, so I'd probably pay that much for it because it is really, really cool. I would recommend popping a tune on because this is C-Class stock. Popping a tune on will definitely help you get these challenges completed easier. However, you don't have to, but I have created one which is A-Class. It has got rally tyres on it, nearly 600 horsepower from a 6.2 litre supercharged V8. And it is also kept rear wheel drive, but thanks to some thicker tyres and then rally tyres it is actually really, really grippy, and it's actually quite a nice purist build. So that is shared under my gamertag Shylo 2017 if you want to use that, or you can create your own or you can download somebody else's. It's completely up to you, but a tune will definitely make this a lot more fun for you. So once you've got in your Buick Regal, if it isn't popping up straight away, maybe take it for a drive, make sure you're in free roam. Then you'll be able to move on to chapter 2, which is called Attention to Detail. This wants you to earn 2 stars on any speed trap in the game, so you do not have to get 3 stars, which is nice and helpful. To make it easy, you might want to filter to speed traps, and then basically pick any one that you can. Now my tune can do 200 miles an hour, but on the motorway down this little hill here it can probably do about 210 if you push it with the gears. So I'm able to do quite a lot of the speed traps in the game, apart from the ones that require over 200 miles an hour, which is really only like the highway speed traps. So I've chosen this one here, the Estadio speed trap, because it only requires 130 miles an hour for 2 stars. You could probably get 3 stars if you took a bit of a longer run up, but if you start around where the Estadio danger sign is, I've got that filtered off at the moment, but if you do have it filtered on, it'll be around where I am now. And then you can use this hill to build up some more speed and go through the speed trap at the bottom. That should be super easy. I'll just give you a quick demonstration now for 130 miles an hour. The acceleration is really nice on this car thanks to its 600 horsepower. I've also got full race weight reduction as well, which is nice and helpful. So as you can see, I got nearly 150 miles an hour there, so that is nice and easy, and you should be able to get that chapter done nice and easily. So chapter 3 is called Grand National, and this wants you to win any road race event in your Buick Regal. So this can be a circuit or a sprint, it's completely up to you. I'd recommend picking a sprint, usually because they're quicker, but it is honestly completely up to you in what you do. One of my favourites is the Reservoirio sprint, just because I've got lots of practice on it and it's a really cool track going around the reservoir there. However, you can pick any road racing event that you like in the game, circuit or sprint. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Personally, I would steer away from Event Lab blueprints because they can be a bit hit and miss for me, but if you have a trusty source of them, or if you create them yourself and you know that they work, then feel free to do so. However, I would stay away from them if I am honest with you. So once you've won your road racing event, make sure you do win. If you're struggling to win, then you can maybe put it on tourist difficulty. You'll be able to move on to chapter 4, which is called Limited Edition. This wants you to win any street race event. Now they don't have circuits for street races, so this will be like a point to point, the street racing. So essentially you just need to go to any street event on the map. I'm not a massive fan of them because there's traffic, it's usually at night, and them things combined are not very good in my opinion, but I know JDM fans in particular would probably disagree with that. But yeah, just pick any one you want. I don't really have a favourite because I don't really do them unless I have to in like seasonal championships, so just pick any street racing event off the map and win it. Again, lower your difficulty to tourist if you want to make it easier, but do make sure you turn it back up for the championships. I'll remind you of that later so that you don't forget. So once you've completed all of them 4 challenges, that will be your Ultra Hot Weekly Forzathon Challenge completed. You'll get yourself 5 points towards the festival playlist and 80 or 160 Forzathon points. Okay then, so for the daily hashtag Forzathon challenges, I accidentally caught the button there, these pop up every day at 3:30 PM GMT or whatever your time zone is, and they last for 7 days each. So there's no rush to complete them. I usually wait a couple of days for a few to unlock, and then I will complete a few at a time. This just makes it easier and doesn't put the stress on me to get on the game every day, which usually I can't. I've already completed the first one by accident, didn't really mean to, but that's that one out of the way for me. These aren't a must, but if you are going for 100%, then obviously they are. These will only help if particularly you don't have Xbox Live Gold and you want to get like 20 or 40 points. These might be a good contribution in you getting that. I'm not sure whether you can actually get 40 points without gold because of the trial, but yeah, you just have to see how you get on, but dailies can help you to get a couple more points because they're usually quite quick. So if you need any help with them, if they're bugged or you don't understand them, let me know in the comments and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Okay then, so the Forzathon shop for this week, all of them Forzathon points that you've earned from the dailies and the weekly, you'll be able to spend in here. So this week, the main prize in here is the 2012 Lamborghini Gallardo Spider Performante LP 570-4. If you don't know what that means, Google it, because I know, but I'm not going to explain. This is a really, really cool car. I've actually driven one of these in real life in blue, which is why the one that I already own in the game is painted blue. They're just such a cool car. I just absolutely love the way that they're designed, like the nice spoiler on the rear, and I just love the idea of a nice exotic Lamborghini with the roof down. It is one of my dream cars, having driven one of them, and it's just absolutely lovely. So mine is currently tuned to the top of A-Class, virtually stock, but actually it is quite good and might come in handy later in the video if you want to stay and watch that. So that's for 700 Forzathon points, or what was 20 million credits in the auto show. This used to be worth 20 million credits as of yesterday, but that will now change as it is featured again. So it's up to you what you do with that one. Then we've got the Hot Wheels Flame Horn. I'll give you a little preview of that one. I'm not really sure how that's linked to Hot Wheels. I'd just call that Bonfire, but sure. And then we've also got the Ferrari FXX. That's one of the OP S1 class cars, even though it starts near the top of S2 class. Don't really know how that works, but for 300 Forzathon points, it may be a better option than 2.5 million in the auto show. I'll leave that up to you, and then I'm just going to ignore that. Okay then, so now we move on to the trial, which is called Main Street. This will get you 10 points towards the festival playlist, and also a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro. So for this, you'll need a C-Class retro muscle, and you'll be racing on a road, and you'll also be in a co-op team. So if you don't know what the trial is, basically a team of 6 with you in it against a team of 6 driver tires. If you want to get in a convoy, then obviously you can have a convoy of up to 6 people in it. That will make your life a lot easier, because it'll mean that you can all kind of decide on what cars you're going to use, make sure you're all tuned, make sure you're all working together, because quite often when there's randoms, half of them are untuned and they ram you and stuff like that. It's just a bit annoying. If you are one of those people, try to get a tune, because they are unbeatable driver tires. They're supposed to be difficult to compete with. So really you do need a tune to compete with them, and just try not to ram your teammates for obvious reasons, really, because it's a team event. You're trying to accumulate the most amount of points on your team against the points of the driver tires. So if you ram your teammate, you're basically making them lose their points, and therefore making yourself lose the race. It is also a best of 3, so if you win the first 2, then you don't have to do the third, which is nice and handy. Okay then, so for our C-Class retro muscle, I have gone with the 2010 Ford Crown Victoria Interceptor. It is a bit of a power build. I decided to keep it rear wheel drive, nice and purist. So it's got 433 horsepower. Didn't manage weight reduction on it, so it is on the slightly heavy side, weighing about the same as a new RS3. However, with 6.2 litre V8, it is quite fast down the straights. Until it tops out at around 140, 150 really. I mean, it's got a top speed of over 160, but really you can only get about 150 out of it realistically in a race. It's fairly easy to drive thanks to the thicker rear tyres and the rear wing. The downforce is pretty good, so you get not as much wheel spin in the back. You still do get wheel spin, of course, because it's a power build. However, it does help to control it and helps it round the corners a bit, because sometimes power builds are a bit dope in the corners, so it does help with it. So it's actually a fairly balanced build, in my opinion. Eagle-eyed viewers may spot as well that the Buick Regal from the Forzathon, it classifies for the retro muscle. I decided to tune mine to A-Class for the Forzathon, but if you want to use yours in C-Class for the trial and maybe C-Class for the Forzathon as well, then be my guest, but I don't have a tune for it. So my tune for the Crown Vic is shared under my gamertag Shylo 2017. Now it is the developers' time to shine as we move on to the event lap, which is by Shady Ryo, and this is the Hot Wheels Mountain Climb. It gets you 3 points towards the festival playlist, and also a Ford Mustang S5, which I haven't got actually, so thank you for that prize. The reason why it's the developers' time to shine is because of the following reason. So firstly, we're going to read the description of this event. Turn on reverse before starting the event. Must drive a Class A 800 vehicle, so basically drive an A-Class vehicle. Now we'll have a look at the restrictions. S1 class anything goes. Work that out. The minds of the developers are absolutely flourishing this week. And yep, And that basically sums it all up. So whatever you want, I don't really know what it is. It's based on the Baja California Trail, but I don't know whether it's actually on-road or off-road. If I were you, I'd go for something that can do both, probably with rally tyres, if I were you. Nothing much to suggest there, because, yeah, that's just a bit suspicious, shall we say. Right then, so now move on to the seasonal playground games, which last week was a very thrilling, never mind, the week before was a very thrilling 3 games of Flag Rush. This time it's a very thrilling game of 3 games of survival. Not really sure why they're theming it, because usually you just play all 3, but now they're making you do 3 rounds of the same thing. Not gonna lie, it does get a bit boring, especially when you have to use a D-Class VW buggy, which has 0 horsepower and 0 grip. And doing so will get you 3 points towards the festival playlist and a 1970 Ford GT70. I'm not going to lie, the prize is much better than the car used and the general event in question, to be honest with you. So essentially, my tune for the VW is rear-wheel drive, has off-road race tyres and about 10 more horsepower, because that's pretty much all you can do, to be honest. It can be found under my gamertag Shylo 2017, but pretty much it is useless because that is the only thing you can do with this car. So yeah, that sums that up. But do note as well that you don't actually have to win, so you can deliberately let the other team win and still get the Ford GT70, or you can make it painful for everyone, including yourself, and try and do more of the same thing by making it awkward. Completely up to you. I am not going to go either way with that one. Okay then, so now we move on to the seasonal PR stunts. There are 3 again this week, as usual. We'll be starting off with the base jump danger sign, which will get you 2 points and a super wheel spin for your efforts. For this, you're required to use a B-Class Rare Classic, and you'll need to go around the Horizon Rush Festival, or you need to go through the Horizon Rush Festival outpost to earn yourself 400 metres on this danger sign, which is quite a lot. However, it's 102.9 metres shy of 3 stars, and it's a long way down to that road there, so if you've got plenty of speed, especially with my tune, you should have no problem in getting that, and obviously it'll help if your car's light as well, because if your car's heavy, it drops faster. That's gravity. So basically that is what you need to do. You need to start over here and you just need to basically gun it. Okay then, so the car, or montage of car parts that vaguely form something vehicle related, that I'm going to be using for this one is the 1959 Porsche 356A 1600 Super. And this car does have super performance, I'm not going to lie. So it costs 240,000 credits in the auto show, which for a rare classic is actually very cheap. It also weighs absolutely nothing, less than a ton there. It's got the 4 litre flat 6 from the 911 GT2, producing 957 horsepower, 853 newton meters of torque, and a top speed well north of 220 miles an hour. It is a bit strange because it's on stock tyres. Originally I tried this rear wheel drive and then realised I couldn't get it above C class, so I had to make it all wheel drive and sacrifice weight reduction and brakes. So the braking is 1.8 and my god is it shocking. I could use a different word beginning with SH there, but I'm not going to. So let's give it a go. It's clearly going to have the speed. There's not really much point in me starting much further around this corner because it doesn't turn in any way. You can see that it's understeering even on the straights because I can't even direct it anywhere in the correct direction. And that is how utterly crap this is. However, we've got to live with it because otherwise we're not going to be able to complete the challenge. Yeah, there are other options to this, such as the Porsche 911 Carrera and the Jaguar E-Type. However, clearly this is the better option. It is clearly a much better car. He says as he fails. Like, I would like to know how this failing system works, because it fails you in a speed zone even when you are going on the path. I would like to know how they figure it out, to be honest. But anyway, let's just land on the road this time, then surely we'll be okay. I see, so the logic is, when you land flat it fails you, when you land, do a wheelie and then land, it's okay. I see the logic there, Forza. It totally makes sense, you know. Moving on then, we have the Callahan speed trap. I've pronounced that like an absolute spastic, but we'll just go with it. So that gets you another 2 points and another super wheel spin, and this requires an S2 class extreme track toy. I nearly called it Spac Troy then. Spac Troy. Wow, that's different. Extreme track toys. That should be a tongue twister. It requires you to get 170 miles an hour in the tunnel here. If you're eagle-eyed, you may spot that in my intro video. Is it the intro or is it the intro where the Ferrari F40 goes through a speed trap? That is this speed trap actually, coming from this direction here, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing this time, but starting from the other side, because with the cars I'm using it will grip around here nicely. So 170 miles an hour shouldn't be too difficult with the cars I've got up for grabs. Okay then, so the car I shall be using for this one is the 2015 Ultimate Evolution Coupe 1020. I've got two tunes for this actually. The one I'm going to be using is the all-wheel drive tune, because that's the one that's actually drivable with 1,100 horsepower. There's also a rear-wheel drive tune with about 1,200 horsepower, I think, which is a bit undrivable, especially when you're going to be going around the corner. Alternatively, you could use things like the BMW X5 Forza Edition, the Pagani Forza Edition, the Mercedes AMG thingamajig Forza Edition, or even the Koenigsegg CCGT. Anything like that will work. However, with the ones I've got available and tuned, I think this one is the best, just because of acceleration and controllability. Basically, 300,000 credits in the auto show. Both tunes are available under my gamertag Shylo 2017. So let us give this a go. I will admit the gear ratios are a bit sus. You have to shift to like 5th gear in order to set off, which is a bit ridiculous. But we'll just ignore that. There you go, 178.81. If you ignore the dodgy gear shifts throughout the tunnel there, I could have got a bit more. However, as you can see, really easy. Both directions will work, however that corner just up ahead there is a bit more difficult than the one we went round, but it is completely up to you in how you complete this speed trap. And just like that, you have yourself a Ferrari Dino. Nice. Okay then, so finally we have the Rio Fuerte Speed Zone, which will get you again 2 points in the super wheel spin. This time you need an A-class modern supercar, and you'll be hitting up above the Horizon Rush Festival, this time around this rather long, horseshoe shaped speed zone. So 110 miles an hour is required. Doesn't seem too bad, however, you know, it's going to be a bit interesting. You probably, doesn't really matter which way you start, because you've still got to go through this section in the middle, although I think I'll probably start around where this tunnel ends here on this side, and see where we get with that, to be honest. Okay then, so as mentioned before, the Lamborghini Gallardo Performante that is available in the whatever it's called, Forzathon shop, is usable for this one with my A-class tune with stock horsepower, stock torque, and just better brakes, really, I think is all I put on it, basically. Really good, actually. I'm going to give that a go. Alternatively, you could use the Porsche 911 Sport Classic, which has just less horsepower. It's a tad bit lighter, rear-wheel drive. I think it's running rally tyres, yeah. It's actually a lot grippier and a lot more responsive. However, I'm just going to give the Lamborghini a go, just because it's got a bit more push on the speed side. I would also like to add as well that looking good is more important than being fast. That is a quote from AR12Nick, so thank you for that one. Right, let's just give this a go then. Okey-dokey. As I say, it's surprisingly grippy, to be fair. That guy's obviously having some issues and is rewinding. You can cut this, but you've got to be careful you're not too ambitious. That was quite generous there, I think, actually. We can't gun it round here too much. use as much of the bridge as we can. That was good timing, but 115 miles an hour, so that is more than completable. Beat it by 5 miles an hour, and the train made for a good photo opportunity there. And yeah, just a really good car that is virtually stock. Okay then, so now we move on to the seasonal championships, and a reminder from earlier that you need to be on at least highly skilled driver tires for this one. However, from past experience, I think it automatically sets it to highly skilled for you if you are below when you actually enter the races. So I won't worry too much about it, but just to be safe, make sure that it's set before you at least start the race in the menu before the race. The first one is called Exotics. It will get you 5 points towards the festival playlist, and also a Ferrari 365 GTB4. It requires A-Class retro supercars and is on road racing, starting at the Descansa Dorado Sprint. So A-Class retro supercars, basically modern supercars, retro supercars, but you know, well, I do like A-Class, so that's pretty good for me. Additionally, if you weren't aware, you are able to complete these seasonal championships in co-op, so that's what I usually do with Robert or some other people from the SG community. I will complete it in co-op, and basically it's like the trial where you accumulate the amount of points you can against the driver tires. However, if you're doing it solo, I see quite a lot of comments on other people's videos about this, where people are saying I've completed it, it isn't showing as complete. And the answer usually is that you're not using the correct car, you're not using the correct difficulty, or you haven't completed all 3 races. If you're doing it in solo, when you enter the championship, it pops up on the map with the 3 races. They will be in white, like with the seasonal championship logo, and then white rather than red to differentiate them from the other championships. And you have to drive or fast travel to each of them races and complete all 3 of them. So if you do it co-op, it's best of 3 against the driver tires. If you do it solo, it's how many points you can get across all 3 races against the driver tires. That's how it works. So make sure that you complete all 3 races. So the first car I've got up for grabs is the 1987 Ferrari F40. This got the same amount of horsepower and the same amount of torque as the Lamborghini actually, which is a bit spooky. However, it isn't using the same engine because it's using its stock engine, stock V12. It's also a bit lighter, however it's running stock tyres, it's rear wheel drive, stock brakes. It's a bit crap, I'm not going to lie. It's only really good on the straights, and even then it isn't overly impressive, only really when you get going on a really long straight will it be impressive. However, if you want to download my livery, then do feel free. It's had over 1,400 downloads I think at this point, maybe 1,300, so thank you to all them people that have downloaded it. Slightly expensive at 1.2 million, but equally as good. And then if you want a slightly better car, you've got the 1997 Lamborghini Diablo SV. So this has got nearly 600 horsepower from I think it might have the V10 in it, I'm not too sure though. Can't remember what I did with that one. I think it's also got race weight reduction, race brakes, the Forza rear aero, and then it's got drag tyres. Drag tyres are technically better than stock tyres, not by much, but at least they do provide a bit more grip. Just got to be careful that you don't start accelerating halfway through the corner, because that is where the drag tyres will understeer. It's also not that impressive on the straights. It's also rear wheel drive, but not really that bad to be honest. 174,000 credits. It's obviously the more affordable option. It's got better acceleration as well because of the drag tyres, so really just take your pick on that one. Not really much differentiation between them. Okay then, so due to there being seasonal playground games this week, we've only got 2 seasonal championships. So the second of 2 is the Hot Tuners seasonal championship. This is street racing, will get you another 5 points towards the festival playlist, and also a 2004 Porsche 911 GT3. So for this one, you'll need a B-Class retro sports car, and as I've just said, you'll be running street racing starting on the Cannon Run, or the Cannon Run, or the whatever the hell you pronounce that as. I'm not really a massive fan of street racing, but B-Class, it's not going to be too bad, not going to be too hectic. So I'll go over to my garage now and see what I've got to offer you. Okay then, so the tunes for this one aren't particularly great, if I'm honest. However, the first I've got is the 1994 Mazda MX-5 Miata. This one is running 300 horsepower. It's quite light, given that it's a Miata. They're generally quite light. It's running a rear wing, and I believe it's running stock tyres, which are probably street tyres. You might think that's appropriate, but it's not really that good. You would at least expect to be on sport or rally tyres, but that's just what I decided. I don't really know why I decided to do that. Although the paint job makes up for it. Lightning McQueen, you know. I mean, it's not as fast as Lightning McQueen, but let's just go with it. It is also pretty cheap, but not too good. A slightly better option is the 1997 Mazda RX-7. This is running 317 horsepower. It is a bit heavier, given that it's a bigger car. Also running stock tyres, which are presumably street. The rear wing, slightly more expensive, but also slightly better tune because it's got better grip and better speed overall. And then the final one I've got is the 1998 Toyota Supra RZ. This is running 335 horsepower, which I think is the stock horsepower from the 2JZ. And it's got that massive rear wing on it. And I think it's also got a slight bit of a body kit on it, the KRC body kit. It is reasonably heavy. It's all-wheel drive. Don't ask me why I did that. 38,000 credits. They're all pretty affordable. Out of the three, I would say the RX-7 is probably the best, then the Supra, and then the MX-5. But it's completely up to you in what you do for that one. Okay then, so on to section 3 out of 4 of this week's festival playlist. We're now on to the challenges section, and first up we have the treasure hunt, which is called Speed Machines. So if you've never done a treasure hunt before, basically you look at the treasure clue, which you can see in front of you. We'll go through that in a second. You complete the treasure clue to unlock the treasure chest, then you have to go and find it within an area. It's similar to like finding a barn find. And then you'll be able to smash it and get the reward. The reward this week is 100 Forzathon points when you smash the chest, and you'll also get yourself 3 points towards the festival playlist. So the treasure clue is German sport hares are lightning fast, splitting any speed zone in 3. Actually, it doesn't say speed, but just ignore that, edit it out. So essentially you're going to need to get any 1983 VW Golf GTI, also known as the VW Rabbit, hence the hare, because hair, not referring to hair on your head, but hair is in the rabbit kind of thing. Not exactly the same, but you know what I mean. And then you're going to need to get 3 stars from any speed zone in your VW Rabbit. And that will unlock the treasure like the treasure clue, whatever it is, whatever it's called, just ignore that. So I've got a B-class tune for the Golf, which you might not think is very impressive given the fact that you got to get 3 stars on the speed zone, but I'm going to try it regardless because I'm a bit of an idiot. Feel free to call me Mr. Ambitious as I attempt the Ring Road speed zone near the stadium here in my B-class Golf. The benefit to this tune, however, obviously it's not very good on the straights as you can see, but you can pretty much full send it in the corners. So we're going to bang the gears. Because we're in online, we can smash that and then rewind like an absolute god. So we're going to put it in 5th, we're going to absolutely send it through. We're going to cut this as much as we can. Again, rewind once we've smashed it to save ourselves some time. I think we need 95 miles an hour on this one, so it's not looking possible. However, it probably is. So 92.42, so that's actually closer than I would have thought. However, it isn't enough. We need another 2.5 miles an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. I guarantee you it is possible. However, please make your life easier and download yourself a tune that's at least A class or above. Also, spoiler alert, if you do not want to see where the chest is located and you want to find it yourself, then either pause the video and skip yourself around 30 seconds, or go and complete it yourself and then return to the video when you are ready, because after I've completed this I'm going to be showing you exactly where the treasure chest is located. And finally, after about 5 to 10 minutes of my life, I've finally been able to complete that challenge. As I said, please make sure you make it easy for yourself and don't be an idiot like I did. Anyway, there is the circle for you. I'm going to fast over there now and show you where the chest is. Okie dokie then, so I fast travelled to the radius of where the treasure chest is located, and I'll show you exactly where it is now. So it's directly under the bridge here, so do not be mistaken, it is under the bridge and not on top of the bridge. So if you fast travel to the bridge, all you'll have to do is kind of jump off the end, you'll land in the foresty area, and then just come under the end here where that banking is. As you can see, I've been doing a little bit of drifting while I've been for a few seconds there. So basically this is where it is, then you smash through it and you get yourself 100 Forzathon points and 3 points towards the festival playlist. That is literally how simple it is. Okay then, so for the photo challenge, #StreetBeast, you need to photograph any modern muscle car at the Horizon Street Scene Outpost. This will get you 2 points towards the festival playlist and a Don't Talk About Street Scene Forza link reward. So you need to get in any modern muscle car. You can do this by going to your garage and filtering to modern muscle, and then all you need to do is just select one of them cars, hop in it and go to the Street Scene Outpost. It might be easy for you to filter to festival sites and you're looking for the one with the purple H, well, the purple background with the white H. Get in any of these cars, go to that location, then take a photo of your car with the street scene in the back. I'm going to go and fast travel there now and give you an example of my photo, just so you can kind of see what the criteria is for a good photo. Okay, so obviously these photos are probably going to look better at night when the lights of the festival are lit up, but because it's day, I'm just going to take a photo anyway, not going to wait for it to become night for no reason. So, take a photo, contains a modern muscle car, and it's taken at this street scene outpost. As long as you're within the kind of area, vicinity, and you've got a bit of the festival in, it should count, and that is that. And hopefully it'll also get you a point towards your Horizon promo as well if you've got the necessary house. Okay then, so the last challenge specific to the spring season is the Horizon Open Speed Blaster Challenge, which wants you to earn 10 speed skills in any Horizon Open event. This will get you 2 points towards the festival playlist and a Ford Raptor from 2017. Now the best thing to do is go over to your online tab, go into Horizon Open and either select Open Racing or Custom Racing. If you go in Custom Racing you can select Road, Dirt, Cross Country or Street or All, and then you can select the class. And then it will search and find a session. Then you just need to earn your speed skills. If you go in open racing, it'll just pick any from any of the classes and race types. I would recommend them because obviously it's going to be easier to get speed skills if you're racing. They can be speed, great, awesome or ultimate speed. They all as long as it's got speed in the title, then that is all that is necessary. It should only take you a race, maybe 2 races, depending on if it's a circuit or a sprint. Okay then, and finally we have the 2 monthly Rivals events. This is the last week that you can complete both of these or improve your current times if you're going for like leaderboard hunting. So firstly we have the Forza EV Rivals Challenge. This is at the Horizon Mexico circuit in the Lotus Via, and basically you just need to post a clean lap to complete. So basically no rewinding, no missing checkpoints and no collisions. That is essentially it. If it's got an exclamation mark next to your time when you go across the line, that means it's flagged or dirty. You don't want that, you just want a clean time. The same applies to the monthly rivals at the Chihuahua circuit in the Hot Wheels 2 Jet Z. Same criteria, post a clean lap. That's all you need to do for both of these. You do not need to beat your rival, you do not need to post a fast time, you simply just need to post a clean lap on the leaderboard, and that is essentially it for both of them. If you've already completed them like I have, they will be auto completed like mine. If you haven't completed them yet, the points will be added on to summer, autumn, winter as well. They are 4 points each. However, if you haven't noticed, because the monthly events, it took me a couple of weeks to notice this, to be fair, it's 1 point for each season, so 4 points for the month, 1 point for each season. So if you're wondering why you only get 1 point added on to the previous season, so that is why, because it's 4 points across the whole series. Okay then guys, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it to be helpful. If my tunes, tips and all the other stuff in this video have been helpful, then please do give it a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it, if there's any improvements you could think of to this video, the way I structure it or the way I give tips. And also please do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these videos and other video types and the occasional live stream. I'll be back next week with the Summer of Series 10 overview, the same structure as this week. And I'll also might go over a couple of things related to Series 10 if they are relevant to that video, and hopefully at some point next week or next weekend I will do a live stream of the Hot Wheels expansion. Remember that releases on Tuesday. If you own the premium edition or the premium add-ons bundle, you will get that for free. Otherwise you can purchase the expansion separately. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's probably just easier to purchase the premium add-ons bundle, because then you'll, when the second expansion comes out, you'll also get that for free as well. It's much more cost effective and you get everything in one package for about £30 or whatever it is. So that is that. So I will hopefully see you next week for the videos or live streams that I managed to get out. But until then, thank you so much for watching, as I said, and I will see you next week. Bye!